For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Telling you guys a bit of a product review on a new product from CampTech. This here is the CampTech Duke. So the Duke basically is an all-season sort of porch awning, but it's inflatable. So that's the main thing. So it's quick and easy to put up. And actually the thing as well, it uses the same sort of fabric as you see with their Savannah. So there's an all-season model they've ran with for numerous years now. But the difference being is obviously it's quicker and easier. It's 4 meters wide, 2.4 deep, which is certainly a bit different from other manufacturers. So it looks like a Camper or sort of Dorema, Isabella or CampTech was Vango, for example. Most of their 4 meter wides are a bit deeper, 3 meters. So if you're a bit sort of iffy on sort of sites, that's where the sort of 2.4 comes in quite nice to it. And yet again, because you've got a slightly narrower depth, it means the pack weight. You're talking only mere 29 kilograms for a seasonal air awning, which not many other manufacturers can compete with, especially when you want to reduce the weight down by sort of removing some of the side panels as well. That really does tend to help. One thing you've got is a single inflation point running throughout it. So you've got a single inflation point which is located down here, and that sort of then distributes the air around to everything else as you need to go. What you can also find is actually reduce the weight down from sliding into the rail. The side panels and also the front panels can be completely removed if you want to as well. Another sticking point that actually does make it a little bit different in comparison to some of the other manufacturers as well is these sort of external blinds to protect the PVC windows. Those you don't tend to see. I think there's only one model I know of really that kind of does that. And when you think of an all season, that's what, the bread and butter of it should really be, to be fair. Generally, there is obviously, even though it's inflatable with a single inflation point, you've got several deflation points as well, which makes it a lot easier sort of to pack it away. And yet again on here, you've got a nice sort of Boston valve system. So you can easily put the air into it and also take it out as well. There's a high volume pump supplied with it, which I'll grab now for you. So again, you've got a really nice pressure gauge on top, so you get a great indication of what sort of PSI you're looking to pump to. And yet again, it just sort of works well. You've got essentially obviously the air little canopy at the front as well, gives you a bit more shelter, and that kind of traditional looks really coming back in really, just because it sort of gives you better interior height. So even though it's sort of maybe a slightly normal depth of 240, that straight wall means you can put furniture and everything right up to the side. With these sort of sloping ones, you do lose a little bit of room at the front, so that way it goes different. Mesh part up here, which obviously can be sealed up as well. One word of warning, there is a couple of poles just for additional bracing. So there's a brow pole here, no different to like there is sort of in, say, the Ace All Season from Camper. It's just you need to make sure the water can drip away quite nicely. It's not going to pool and suddenly collect water. There is additional pole as well, which you can put in, supported there, and what it does actually sort of twists the beam on the inside a little bit, and that way it directs the water flow sort of away from the center part. So if you get sort of a bigger downpour, that's what's going to be a key method, is obviously the water can sort of speed off as it needs to and as it should do. PVC draft skirts located down the bottom here. Yet again, sort of a more mud skirt if you wanted. You've got peg and land as well, so you can get different adjustment heights as well as you wanted to. We'll take the camera in a second and have a little look on the inside in just a moment, but we'll just talk for a few other features. You've got things like additional bracing on the front as well as the sides, so there's different kits you can buy for this particular model. Personally, I would probably recommend buying 2 kits, just that way you've got as much bracing as you need, especially if it's going to be something that's sort of all-season use. That's where it sort of comes into it if you wanted to as well. So it uses their sort of SR sort of 18 fabric, so like I said, an all-season coated, really nice. And you sort of feel the handle of it, especially with things like the oversized zips you've got located there, it just kind of streams quality. And if you compare it in terms of a price point to other manufacturers, it actually comes out a lot cheaper, mainly because CampTech are the manufacturer. They produce all of their own equipment rather than going to external factories. And what that does, it means that it cuts sort of, a middleman out, if you will, and that way the customers can essentially get something that's, worth best part of, 30% more than it should be. So that goes straight away directly onto you, which helps and makes that better. Generally, we sort of carry these normally in stock and get shipped out directly from CampTech. So you can check in the link below at any point to look through the pricing we've got on this particular model as well, and also talking about things like in-depth spec on the product. The blinds I've mentioned on the outside, the reason they go sort of from the top down is mean that you can kind of have it halfway, fold it over itself, and that way you can get a little bit of light coming through, but get a level of privacy a bit more up top as well. So you've got the best of both worlds. So let me grab the camera and we'll have a little look on the inside of it. So, you can even get a little matching dog tape, which you can't go wrong with. So, if we go inside, so you've got kind of on, if we look at the side panel first and foremost, you've got a mesh window part here, and that's the same for both sides, so that comes included. So you can actually interchange the side panels around. So if you don't want a door positioned at the front and you want it back at the back where you would traditionally find, you know, the door itself, all you do is swap the left panel around with the right panel, and that way it just rotates the door around and keeps it here. I think a lot of people will probably certainly keep it in this manner, just because then you're not sort of walking at your caravan and encroaching straight on the door as well. The advantage of having it the other way is obviously that the windows are then right at the front, and you still get that kind of panoramic view that you want to. It just works a bit nicer. The air tubes you can see obviously in this roof here, there are things like a roof line you can put in place or in the bedrooms inside if you want to, as well as optional annexes. You've got a really quite smart system that you can put these LED lights on, and actually goes on to little preset beading, so that part there can slide, but you kind of put it where you want it to. Isolation taps are everywhere, so you've got isolation tap for every single part, so it just allows you to sort of get that surety that even though you can pump it up from one point, every beam can be done individually. Actually, I'm not sure you can probably see it initially, but it's actually a sort of full-on kind of switch, so you actually have to put it across, and I will say actually to be fair, it's quite stiff, so you're not going to accidentally do it. You know, it means that purpose there's a clear on and off part to it. Moving on to things like the curtains. So you've got nice sort of curtains, traditional style caravan curtains, little retainers down the bottom as well, just to kind of keep the curtain as you want it to. But there's also a strap located down there, which helps keep the curtain nice and tight to the window and the PVC. That way it's not sort of floating out as well. You've got nice foam pads located at the back here, yet again just to help seal against the van, so you can buy some additional poles just to sort of help with that. The bracer beams on the roof do get inserted separately, I will say that, so the main body goes up really nice and easily, but that goes in separately, which is very simple to do and a bit more of an afterthought. Now in the top part here, there's additional packing pads you can buy here, so if your rail's not completely flush to your vehicle, so slightly an older vehicle, that's where it kind of pays dividends in there. The side panels, you've got two zips located, as you can see, so you can create almost like a little veranda naturally with the fabric as it folds over from there. And like I said, you've got a little pole, I'll show you that actually in a second, that pole that sort of sits in the middle of the panel just to give a bit more additional support. But the way you insert it is you sort of insert it from kind of an angle this way and then pull it down, and it sort of puts that pocket. And like I said, on the outside, it really does help to kind of get the water draining off as you should want it to. But you can see, to be fair, quite a smart awning, but you've got a level of features, and I think certainly the external blinds is one of the key things for me, as well as the quick and easy, and the weight. You know, so I say 29 kilograms for an all-season awning is pretty pucker mine. Then you can remove the panels on top of that. You can actually look at sleeping people not only inside the awning, but an external annex as well. So the side panel can remove, and you put an annex on either side if you want to, or just use it for storage. So you can remove the inner tent. But for more information, by all means check our link below, or check our website at attwoolls.co.uk, and it goes into more detail about it. But by all means let us know what you think of it, whether you've got one, how you sort of run it. It'd be really interesting to sort of get a bit more feedback on this model, as we think, to be fair, you know, it hits a cracking price point, a good weight, and is good value. So by all means let us know. But thanks for watching. By all means comment and subscribe in the below.